Lola Cars was formed as a racing car constructor in 1958 in the United Kingdom by Eric Broadley. They mostly built cars that would be sold to customers in sports car and Formula car racing. From 1962 to 1993, various Formula One teams used Lola customer cars. In 1962, future world champion John Surtees finished second at both the British Grand Prix and the German Grand Prix for the Yeoman Baker Racing Team. Lola also won the Indianapolis 500 in 1966, 1978, and 1990, along with the INDYCAR Series Championship in 1984, 1991, and 1993. In late 1996, Broadley announced that Lola would be returning to Formula One after the Scuderia Italia team in 1993 used Lola chassis, getting a best finish of 7th at the San Marino Grand Prix with Luca Badoer. In fact, to that point, the only time Lola themselves had entered a Formula One race was the 1967 German Grand Prix, which was a combination event for Formula One and Formula 2 cars. David Hobbs finished 10th overall and third of the drivers using Formula 2 cars for Lola. The original plan was for Lola to return to Formula One in 1998 with large-scale sponsorship from credit card company MasterCard. However, the team's title sponsor wanted the new team, which would officially be known as MasterCard Lola, to debut in 1997. The reason for this was that MasterCard was wanting to launch F1 Club as a way for cardholders to help fund the team. Additionally, Lola had intended to use their own in-house V10 engine that would be created under the supervision of Al Melling. Unfortunately, the development of the engine went behind schedule and Lola instead used the same Ford ECA ZTEC R V8 engine that Forte Course had used in 1996. With Forte, the engine had a best finish of 8th at the Monaco Grand Prix with Badoer. The team would use the new T9730 chassis from Lola that Broadley and Chris Saunders designed. Alan McNish tested a prototype chassis in late 1994 and early 1995. However, as development for the Lola engine fell behind, testing for the chassis also occurred in insufficient amounts. For the season, the chassis had never been in a wind tunnel and had barely been on a racetrack. The launch for the chassis would occur on February 20th, 1997, less than a month before the season-opening Australian Grand Prix. Broadley stated that his goal was for the team to win the World Championship within 4 seasons. Lola would hire Vincenzo Sospiri and Riccardo Rosset to be the drivers for the fledgling entry. Sospiri had been competing in International Formula 3000 since 1990 and won the 1995 championship for Supernova Racing with 3 wins out of 8 races. For 1996, Sospiri served as a Formula One test driver for Benetton Formula. Rosset had been Sospiri's Formula 3000 teammate in 1995. Rosset won 2 races and finished second in the standings. In 1996, he began to race in Formula One with footwork arrows and got a best finish of 8th at the Hungarian Grand Prix. MasterCard Lola would not be the only new team for 1997. There would also be Stewart Grand Prix, a team formed by 3-time Formula One world champion Jackie Stewart and his son Paul. The Stewart team had been announced prior to the 1996 season, which they spent testing and developing their cars. When the 1997 season started in March at Albert Park for the Australian Grand Prix, it became clear that the Lola entries were well off the pace of their competitors. The T9730's aerodynamics were such that the car had massive wind resistance. Additionally, the design of the car meant that it would struggle to produce downforce, which resulted in the tires being unable to get warmed up to their proper temperature, which compounded the Lola's issues with struggling to grip the track and, consequently, increase speed. To qualify for a Formula One race in 1997, a driver would have to post a best qualifying lap time that would be within at least 107% of the pole sitter's time. Jacques Villeneuve would qualify on the pole position with a best lap that was 1 minute and 29.369 seconds long. Rosset's best lap was 1 minute and 42.086 seconds, while Sospiri would be slightly better with a time of 1 minute and 40.972 seconds. Neither Lola driver's lap speed was quick enough for them to qualify. Following Albert Park, Lola participated in a test session at Silverstone. Their drivers were about 10 seconds slower than the other participants. Later in the month, the Brazilian Grand Prix at Interlagos was the second event of the season. Going into the event, MasterCard had not yet paid for their sponsorship. The team's equipment and personnel, including the cars and drivers, were sent to Brazil. The race was Rosset's home country event. However, Leading up to the race, Lola decided to withdraw from it. Soon afterwards, they withdrew from the World Championship. In MasterCard Lola's brief existence, they went £6 million, approximately $7.62 million, into debt, and Lola went into receivership. Broadly would sell the organization to Martin Bahrain, an entrepreneur that also was a professional racing driver, whose career included winning in the Group B class at the 1985 24 Hours of Le Mans. Under Bahrain, Lola attempted to return to Formula One in 2010, but they did not get approval to rejoin the World Championship. Sospiri would never get another chance in Formula One. In May 1997, he started to compete in IndyCar in the United States. Sospiri drove for Team Scandia and qualified in third place for the Indianapolis 500, but mechanical issues in the race meant that he finished 37 laps down and 17th. In all, Sospiri started 6 IndyCar races in 1997 and finished in a top 10 3 times and nearly won at New Hampshire, but narrowly finished second to Robbie Buell. Afterwards, Sospiri did 4 races for All-American Racers in 1998, getting a best finish of 15th at Houston and Surfers Paradise, and then failed to qualify for the 1999 500 with ISM Racing. He also won the Sports Racing World Cup in 1998 and 1999 with Emmanuel Collard. Sospiri competed in the 24 Hours of Le Mans those years. In the latter year, he was on the pole position, but a puncture caused an early retirement. In 2001, he retired from driving to concentrate on operating Vincenzo Sospiri Racing, which currently competes in various Grand Touring series in Europe after having competed in Formula cars. Rosset returned to Formula One in 1998 with the Tyrrell Racing organization. This time he completed the full season. Out of 16 races, Rosset failed to qualify for 5 of them and had a best finish of 8th at the Canadian Grand Prix. After the season, Rosset went back to Brazil to operate a sportswear business. However, starting in 2008, he started to compete in sports car races in the country. In 2010, 2013, and 2015, he won the Porsche GT3 Cup Brazil Championship. In its brief existence, MasterCard Lola established themselves as one of Formula One's worst teams. However, Lola did have some success afterwards. They won in the Le Mans Prototype 2 class at Le Mans in 2005 and 2006, and they also won the IndyCar Championship each year from 2002 to 2004, and were the exclusive chassis supplier in 2005 and 2006 there.